Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters for the second banner overview of these triple feature scouts with Rika, Anniversary, May, and N. Alright, so this is the field banner where the last one was Sprint with Chase, Signature May, and Signature Cynthia. This one is focused on the field EX role characters, in which it is the same deal where... Ruja. Alright. We've got this banner here, which is the regular banner, the 3,000 non-paid gems, whatever. I mean, 4.5% rates overall, 1.5% rates for each individual character, the usual. And of course, the one over here that's 5,000 paid gems, and you get 25 unit multi and a field EX roll cake. Obviously, not too much value there, I at least in my humble opinion. I mean, if you really need an EX roll that bad and you want to spend the money, go for it. But of course, it's not a select scout. It does not count for scout points. I'm still recommending people advocate for these banners to just be like a fourth option on the regular scout, so that at least this multi, this 5,000 paid gem, 25 unit multi, can at least count for scout points on this banner. That alone would add a lot of value. But whatever. Anyway, that's just something to consider. Food for thought. This banner is already very, very valuable because Rika is so pretty. Yes. Yes. Anyone want to pop some tea to that? Anyway, credit to the artist, of course, here. So, yeah. Anyway. Whatever. Banner's pretty good. I mean, Rika's a really strong character, and after his awakening, he went from 0 to hero pretty quick. I'm not saying he's like amazing, but he got a really good boost. Really good boost, and it's pretty strong. I'm just saying. And Anniversary May is also a pretty good character as well, and she also got her Super Awakening, I believe. I think so. Whatever. Anyway, not really important. Overall, these characters are pretty decent. Rika is probably the best one because she's a supportive character that sets ground zone with good survivability. A lot of people don't like her for some reason. Why? Whatever. Whatever. I guess we'll go over Rika first. I did Chase last in the last video, so this time we'll start with Rika first. How about that? Anyway, so, okay, hello. Reset the grid, thank you. So, Rika, she does not have her Super Awakening unlocked yet, but she will get it, next month. Not that I would be able to get it, good lord, please. But she's with 6-star X level 150 stats. She's got over 800 health, 358 defense, 373 special defense, 276 speed, and offensive stats don't really matter too much for her. Her defensive stats are good. Her HP's good. Her speed's middling, but it doesn't really matter for her because she does have gauge acceleration in base because she's able to do that with her trainer move as well as buff ally attack and special attack. With her EX roll with field, her defenses go up even more. Her HP goes up a little bit, I believe, yeah, and her speed goes up a little bit as well. Pretty helpful. Mostly the defensive stats thing is probably the biggest use for her. I do like her trainer move. Applying gauge acceleration and buffing allies attack and special attack in a mixed style is pretty good. This does get further enhancement with dupes, but just at base, this is good for enhancing a lot of having versatility, enhancing a lot of characters. And again, the gauge acceleration does help out with her speed problem, pretty much. She's also got Poison Sting, which has a 30% chance to leave the enemy poisoned. She's got X Special Defense All, which is able to buff ally Special Defense by 2. This gets a lot better with dupes, but in base, I mean, this is pretty decent already. It enables her to be a better special tank, which she is pretty much striving to be. And her buddy move in Rampant Mud Slap, which never misses, lowers target accuracy by 2, leaves the target poisoned, turns field to play in a ground zone, and increases ally physical and special moves next by 2. So this gives her 2 sets of ground zone, one on her sync move and one on demand with the buddy move, which is pretty good for a support character. She's able to use her sync move for free, get the support EX in as you want to anyway, and set the field's ground zone field, which is able to enhance all ground damage. Very, very good for like Arc Cynthia, considering Arc Cynthia only has 2 uses of it unless you have her at 5 out of 5, which is then infinite, but at least Rika can also extend it, just consideration there. And it's good for pretty much any other ground character as well. Like Costume Adam comes to mind, Fall Roxanne comes to mind, Variety Giovanni, right? Good for those characters. And again, being able to set it on demand as well whenever you want with the trainer buddy move is pretty helpful because its only condition is being hit once. Just get hit and it's activated, which is pretty free, obviously. At her passive skill, she's got Team Trash Tank 9. People hate this because it screws over sync countdown. And Rika can't do sync countdown like Chase can, so people don't like it, but still, this is an amazing ability to heal. I mean, it's probably not that impressive to put out there, but I mean, I tanked Nita underground zone like 2 times with Rika just because even with Ground Zone up, just because of how good of a tank she was and how good she could actually heal the team with Team Trash Tank. Obviously, she didn't heal up all the damage from those 2 moves, but she did heal the team in general, and it does just help that she's a good tank, and it doesn't matter that it screws over Sync Acceleration, because we still won the fight against one of the hardest stages in the game. This is only... I can see the worst case of this being, bad is maybe the high score event where, those precious turns can count, or like when you're trying to do a super specific ultimate battle run. Like if you're trying to be super specific about it and try and do a run that has a very narrow window, maybe this can screw things up. But even then, more times than not, it's better just because of the healing, and also you can work around it by just not trying to do hyper-specific runs to begin with. I mean, sometimes you lack options and whatever else, but you also don't have to do ultimate battles immediately anyway. She's also got take hit opponent 1 of 5 stats down 2, lowering 1 of the 5 core stats by 2 when she is hit by an attack move of the enemy. I mean, that's good. Debuffs are good. Debuffs are always helpful. Helps take less damage with the attack and special attack. Helps do more damage with the defensive debuffs. And speed is good for just making it so the enemy can't take as many actions because they don't have much gauge. Especially good in the Legendary Gauntlet, but also could be good for like the damage challenge, though I don't think you're going to be using Rika just because that's also where Team Trash Tank could be not great, is because it's a passive that procs. So I can definitely see the case of it not being too helpful there. Rika's not really a character built for the damage challenge. She's also got Critical Squad 1 buffing ally crit, so she's got attack and special attack buffs, crit buffs, special defense buffs, pretty good buffing ability, accuracy debuffs, and core stat debuffs, so she's got a lot of debuffs on the enemy as well. The only thing that she lacks is immediate healing outside of the Team Trash Tank, but her grid fixes that. Her grid is good because she's got Shielded 2 on X Special Defense All alongside NPR. This gives her physical defensive buffs on top of the special defense, which is able to make her tanking in most cases a lot better. Noxious Hit, being able to debuff enemy attack and special attack when attacking a poisoned opponent. This just makes her offensive debuffing faster, and also, again, it just helps her tanking more. She's able to buff her defenses, debuff enemy offenses, heal up off of Team Trash Tank, and have First Aid 4 here in the grid as well if you do need that 40% healing. So she's, despite the fact that her healing on terms of like immediacy, by like potions or something like that, is not great, she does instead have First Aid 4 and the extra defensive utility and offensive debuffs to be able to help out with that. And she also gains, I think this is 5 out of 5, sorry, pretty much recuperation, which is 40% healing after using her sync move, which is good. Also, her event, sadly, has not rerun for people to get this, but if you got the cookie and did not get Rika, and you can pick her up. She also got Synchro Healing, initial Synchro Healing, which is 20% healing for the whole team upon using her sync move the first time in battle, so there's more healing there. Again, that could be pretty helpful. Other than that, she's also got Slippery and Train Move NPR. Evasion +1 using the Train Move is very good. Dodging is always nice. This helps out her survivability more. It also makes it so sometimes, Team Trash Tank doesn't proc. So if those people, really hate that it screws up sync accelerations, then at least you've got Dodge to rely on top of the accuracy debuffs she can already do, so she's pretty decent for that anyway. She's got Train Move Team Brain and Brawn gain as well. If you want to buff physical or special attackers or both, you can opt to pick up one or both of these tiles to be able to do that buffing a lot faster. This makes it so where she's less of a defensive character with offensive enhancement in the form of Ground Zone and the moves up next on a Trainer move, Buddy move, but now it makes her far better at actually being able to enhance team damage with the moves up next. And if she gets like an extra good Super Awakening, then it's even better for that, right? She's got Ground Zone Extension as well and Ground Zone Team Condition Nullification. This prevents flinching and status conditions and trap and confusion and whatever else as well. I mean, it prevents all of those different conditions, which could be helpful because a lot of enemies like to do that, especially in the friggin' latest, the Train Brothers event. Oh my god, that was fucking painful. I hated doing that. So Rika's good for being able to prevent the damage or prevent these effects from actually happening, which is really good. And also Ground Zone Extension 5, extending Ground Zone on top of the extended version of it from the Field EX roll. I personally haven't even had problems with Rika maintaining Ground Zone before picking this up, but I can't imagine that it's definitely a lot better. I can imagine that after picking up the 50% extension here. So yeah. Other than that, Rika's got a few other decent abilities, like, I mean, Vigilance and Group Slapdash can be good. I mean, Group Slapdash helps with the team gauge as well, if you can dodge the attacks, which, again, she's pretty good at doing, with the Slippery and the accuracy debuffs and whatever. And also the Vigilance, if you do want to pick up a different lucky skill, which, again, this kind of potentially enables the running of Synchro Healing a little bit more. I think the biggest thing to have to worry about with this character is the fact that you might not have enough energy to pick up everything you want. Because she does, like, the defensive debuffs, the defensive buffs, the offensive debuffs, the evasion stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things this character kind of likes. So you kind of have to be pretty picky about what you pick up. But yeah, she's a good character for a lot of good roles. And she's also, again, she's good for the she's good for the Legendary Gauntlet because of her amazing tick healing with Team Trash Tank, plus the First Aid, plus the Recuperation. The debuffs make her great for that game mode as well. The Poison as well for extra damage. That's actually pretty helpful too. Yeah, Brika's a pretty good character, obviously. Pretty strong character, pretty good enhancer of ground types, but also just a good support in general. I mean, again, I used her against Nita, just for fun, just to prove it. Didn't even need to, I just did it for fun, but yeah, whatever. So again, Rika, pretty strong character, pretty good character to pick up, even at like low move levels, because I used her at 1 out of 5, she was good, 2 out of 5, I liked using her, and I got her to 3 out of 5 off of a Lucky Mix Scout pool, and I was very, very happy to use her, so good character to get use of out of different move levels. Anniversary May, character gained the Field EX role, she does not, oh, she's not gained her Super Awakening. Okay, I thought she did. No, she didn't. No, okay, yeah, she didn't. Interesting. Cool, whatever, I don't really care that much. I mean, she'll get it next month. Anyway. So, character released back during the 2.5 anniversary of 2022. Looking at her stats at 6 Area X level 150, she's got 727 health, 213 effectively for both of her defenses, 414 special attack, and 411 speed. Not terrible stats, but they honestly could use some work, which thankfully she got the Field EX roll to help that out. Her defenses are better now, her HP and speed are also better, and upon Mega Evolving, her stats again are even better. Where she's got nearly 500 special attack and 280 special defense, these are far better and far more solid stats for her. And of course she will get Super Awakening as well, which will enhance all of these numbers even more, so I wouldn't really counter out too much just yet in terms of the stats department, which she's fine, and 500 special attack's good, 280 special defense is good, defense could afford to be a bit higher, but it's still pretty good compared to a lot of other older characters, and the HP is pretty solid as well, so yeah, pretty good stats across the board. She's got Miss Ball, her main damaging move, which 120 power is not great, but this is mostly for, I think, utility purposes anyway. She's able to debuff special attack at a 50% chance with it, which she does have Honor Roll 1 with pre-Mega Evolution to guarantee that special attack debuff, and on Mega Evolution she gets Unexpected Benefits × 2, which increases the chance of this happening to guaranteed, but it also makes it double the debuffs. So she's got a guaranteed chance. She's got guaranteed -2 special attack when attacking the enemy, which is good, obviously. She's also got Psychic Freebie, which applying free moves next when she is in Psychic Terrain, which she sets because of Psychic Wish. This is simply not Psychic Terrain because Latias can't learn Psychic Terrain. That's the only reason for it. That's why it's called Psychic Wish. That's also why Egg Leafeon has Grass Wish and not Grassy Terrain, because they literally had to fix that, actually. She's also got Added Insult. The more her enemy special attack and special defense are lower, the more it powers up her moves. I wish I did some research into this before this video, because I actually don't know if this is a 60% multiplier or if it's a 30% multiplier mixed, and I don't know if it's posted in here, especially because of the age. Yeah, okay, so 2023. So, cool. Okay, anyway, whatever. If anyone wants to, like, verify if this is a 30% multiplier at max or 60%, please do that and I'll pin your comment. I actually don't know. But either way, an extra multiplier for her that helps out her damage, because Miss Ball doesn't have a lot of it to go around. Yeah. She's got Psychic Wish again to set Psychic Terrain, which is good for her. Again, she's got the Field EX roll as well, so she's very, very good at setting Psychic Terrain, almost as good as Signet Suit Lana. X Special Attack, not really. Lana's nuts. Anyway, X Special Attack all for buffing ally special attack and herself. Of course, she's a tech character. She wants to be able to do it for herself. Being able to buff special attack is good. She's got Best Friends, applying Gauge Acceleration to the eye field of play, raising her defenses by 2 and her crit by 3. Very, very good self-sufficiency in offensive buffing, and also the +2 defenses definitely don't hurt as well. And the Gauge Acceleration is pretty nice. And she's got Innate Multiplier of Devastation for special attack debuffs. I think she's a fine character at 1 out of 5. I mean, the setting of Psychic Terrain is nice and the debuffs are nice, but in terms of her damage, it's not going to be too impressive. Her Sync Nuke's not going to be too impressive. And just overall, she doesn't have too much stuff that's going, like, amazing going for her. The Psychic Freebie's nice. I mean, that helps out with Gauge as well. But just in general, I would say that 1 out of 5 May's not super crazy, but she could definitely get good usage. Again, Psychic Terrain, Special Attack Support, good self-sufficiency, Special Attack debuffs. You can get some pretty decent usage out of her. But with dupes, of course, she's going to be getting a lot better. She's got Devastation here and Smarty Pants. These are 2 more multipliers for her Sync Nuke, which is powered up by 2 Sync nodes here. 338 power Sync move if you can pick up everything, which you should be able to, I believe. I know, let's just... I mean, yeah, you can easily pick up the final tile. I mean, if you just want to go for Acuity and do it, go for it. But yeah, you can pick up all of her special attack stuff. And if you want to invest the -6 energy, or +6 energy, then you can do all that. You can do that little number there. Anyway, so yeah, May's got 2 multipliers here in the forms of Smarty Pants and Devastation. The Smarty Pants, this is more so for her synergy with Cygnus Suit Brendan, because I don't think she debuffs special defense at all. Yeah. The fact that they gave her this pre-Cygnus Suit Brendan's existence is pretty weird. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, whatever. I mean, it's 2 good multipliers. Special defense debuffs are not in as nearly bad shape as they were back when she released to actually obtain, so you can still make good use of these nodes a lot better today. 300% in multipliers is great, again, off of her pretty damn strong offensive stat once Mega evolved. She's also got Overpower and Brain Teaser, extra multipliers to power up her Mist Ball, on top of the added Insult ability here, passive ability, whatever. That's going to be an extra damage for Mist Ball, which it does need it, considering how low power it does have as a move. So the extra damage is nice. Outside of that, she's got Weird Immunity, preventing status conditions on herself. Dismay 2 for debuffing enemy special attack a lot faster. Super Sinker if you are using her for super effective damage purposes. This is great. I think this is a great tile in the damage challenge. I mean, it should be, at the very least. So getting that super effective next is nice. Morale boost, boosting special attack when the trainer uses a move. I mean, if you want faster self-sufficiency, then sure. And moral support, same case mostly. She's also got Psychic Wish, NPR, and Propulsion 9, so you do get Sync Acceleration on using the Psychic Wish, and you have extra chances to use it, making her a very, very consistent Psychic Terrain setter, considering she can set it on 3 different ways via just Psychic Wish and the Field Axe roll, but then pretty much an unlimited amount of times with the NPR. Though she does not have Extension, which is kind of iffy. And her extra tiles kind of suck. Team Healing Entry, I mean, that's like decent for healing for the whole team. I mean, at the beginning of the battle, most stages don't hit too hard, or well, a lot of ultimate battles kind of do, I guess, but I don't know. This ability wears off too fast, where you do kind of want that healing like more in the middle or end of the battle. I mean, it's still not like terrible. Though she can also get it back when she Mega Evolves, though you'd have to time that pretty well. Psychic Wish, Bogo 9, applying free moves next when using it. She does not need gauge help. This is useless. And Befuddle 1, sure. Yeah, okay. -1 special defense for all enemies on entry. Cool, man. Cool. Overall, she's a pretty good character. She's got a good nuke, just not too much outside of it. The debuffs are nice, but she's mostly just damage and setting and the special attack debuffs. At least she tries to do damage. Mist Ball's not really that good for it, but her nuke is good. So her nuke is probably the main focus for her damage at the very least. And again, she's going to get Super Awakening, which I think hers should be pretty good just because of, you know, what she's really lacking right now. She's pretty bland and could use quite a bit to buff her. Granted, Cynthia got fuck all. Oh, she didn't get Dragon Zone. They're probably going to give her more Psychic Terrain stuff. Whatever. Anyway, whatever. Moving on to the final character, which is Eriott. Alright, so, damage dealing character, he got a Super Awakening, and that Super Awakening actually boosted him a lot. Before that, his stats are decent. 476 attack, 205 defenses. These could be better, for sure, but, I mean, they could also be far worse. 739 HP is nothing crazy, and 254 speed. mostly just his attack is the good stat here. He's going to be gaining the Field EX roll with the release of this banner, which does buff his defenses to 225 and 800 health and 294 speed. This makes him a good electric terrain setter, especially when combined with someone like Signasuit Emmett, who is a good Unova character to buff him because of his circle, and also the fact they work pretty well together off of being electric types that want to be enhanced under electric terrain. So they actually do have some pretty good synergy, but also does help him out maybe with like running under Signasuit Thunderbolt Red or something like that. If you do want to do that as well, this extra set of field could be helpful for just maintaining it on any setup you really do. He's got Bolt Strike, which is his main damaging move, 200 maximum power, other than Super Awakening, of course, which 189 at 1 out of 5 is pretty good anyway as well. 4 gauge, 20% chance of leaving enemy paralyzed, 85 accuracy, which he does fix, I believe. Yeah, he buffs his accuracy by 1 and speed by 2 on his trainer move, but this also debuffs his defense. Kind of sucks. And when he does not have a sync buff, applies Super Effective next. I don't know why they did it like this. When he does not have a sync buff, why? The sync buffs are good. Why do you want to just give it to him when he doesn't have one? This is such a weird ability to implement, but whatever. He's got X attack for his self-sufficiency and buffing attack, and outrage for dragon damage. That's pretty much all it's good for. It's just dragon damage. He's got entry freebie and sync freebie because he is pretty gauge hungry, and his speed is not that great, so the fact that he's got this is good. And piercing blows, which ignores enemies' different like gimmicks, like passive effects and endurance and stuff like that. So being able to work with piercing blows is pretty good. Piercing blows is a great ability for the legendary gauntlet. I would say at the very least End's going to be a pretty solid duo character. He did just solo Moltres, which is great. And I think he sold Latios too. Latios, not Latios. But in terms of duos, I mean, just having piercing blows is already going to give him a lot of good utility. But at the same time, he kind of needs a lot because his gauge isn't good, his healing's not good, his bulk's not good. So just kind of considering that. Though, of course, with all these buffs, those get a lot higher. Like, Super Awakening buffs his attack to over 500, his defense is at 241, 315 speed, 862 health. That does help out a ton. A lot more than you would think. So, having those extra stats is very, very good for him. And in the grid, again, this is 1 out of 5 in. And 1 out of 5 is not that great. He doesn't have any multipliers. He doesn't have, like, good crit buffs. He literally does not have any single crit buff ever. He's not got really any enhancement. The only good thing about him pretty much at 1 out of 5 is the piercing blows. But obviously grids are nice, thankfully. Though honestly, prior to just in general, honestly, and sync grid's not that great. He's got 6 sync nodes, static boost 3, static shock 3. Those are his only sync buffs. He's got, again, static boost and static shock. Those power up moves and sync moves and static shock powering up sync moves. That's 60%. That's not great. His attack, it's not like his attack is like 800 either, where that would kind of make up for it. So he really is hurting. And again, the sync nodes are good. They're good for enhancing that damage, but still, he's going to be struggling. Like he's going to be struggling a lot to do a lot of good sync damage. And I mean, Bolt Strike's going to be decent. I mean, he's got the 30% multiplier on it. He's also got Hostile Environment 4, by the way, and also Hostile Environment 1 if you have him at 2 out of 5, I believe that tiles at. So if you do want the Guarantee Paralysis, that's nice. End's a character that really wants a lot of investment. He wants 5 out of 5 for the most part, if you want to be able to do something with him. And otherwise, he kind of wants 10 out of 10. That's the one thing with End, is that he's good, but he really wants 10 out of 10 investment. He really, really does. That really is what made him good, was the things he gained from Super Awakening. Just saying. Other than that, I mean, the extra for the damage stuff, which again, the sync, he's really kind of missing out on the sync nuke. It's not that great. It's gonna help him with his piercing blows and the legendary gauntlet for sure, but outside of that, not really too much. Unbending is good. It prevents the defense debuffs from the trainer move, which you do want to use anyway to buff his speed and accuracy. He also gets Focus Rush for +3 crit after the sync move. Good self-sufficiency, really only in the legendary gauntlet. Outside of it, not really. Clear-headed, I mean, this prevents the confusion from outrage. Process energy 3 on outrage buffs its damage, so outrage does have some pretty good multipliers. Also confusion boom, so you do kind of want the confusion anyway, which means you might want to run him similar to Iris, where he's got like lesson confusion 9. Yeah. He's got a few other things like Guaranteed Crit after using the Trainer move and Berserker 2 on the Trainer move for faster attack buffs, but for the most part, End's not really getting saved too much. Again, he's not really... He doesn't have healing, he doesn't have defensive buffs, he doesn't have amazing multipliers. He really wanted something else, and well, the Super Awakening gave it to him. Not only did it, again, give him good stats, like, these are good stats, it gave him 300 base power Bolt Strike, which is fucking nuts, nearly a 200 power Outrage, which is good for dragon damage as well, and a 500 power Sync Nuke if you can pick up all of his Sync tiles, which, again, you can, right? I'm just, good lord, I'm going all the way, fucking... Jesus, sure, there, okay. You can pick up all of the sync tiles not without, much issue. If you're trying to enhance the sync damage anyway. But he also got this amazing passive. Mighty Command 9s, I mean, this can be decent. Mighty Command 9 can be pretty decent if you are trying to buff him and then use like a Support EX Sync Nuke and then, use his 300 power Bolt Strike. He's going to be doing pretty good. Even with just 30% multipliers. Like, I don't think we can really underestimate that too much. But he's also got Bronze Sync 9 and Double Down 5. Bronze Sync 9 actually makes him have a respectable Sync Nuke. This gives him 150% in just pure Sync multipliers. When attack is raised, when the enemy's paralyzed, those are all easy things to activate. Not bad at all for him, especially because again he's got Hostile Environment right there. It's plus 10 energy. It's not too bad, especially if you're already investing him to this level. It gives him 150% in Sync multipliers. In all cases, that's really, really good. That's good for a striker, and that's a pretty good baseline. And then Double Down 5. So if he's super effective, he gets an extra 50% on top of that. So if you are trying to do good on-type damage with this guy, that Sync Nuke is going to be hitting really hard. 200% in Sync Nuke multipliers. Plus he gets a super effective next on using the Trainer move, which you probably want to use right before using his Sync move anyway, assuming that he will be either the first Sync, or, you can use it right before your Support EX uses their Sync move, so you can still have that super effective next prior to gaining a Sync buff, right? Which is still an outdated effect, but whatever. And then a physical moves next for using Trainer moves is pretty helpful as well for, again, enhancing that Bolt Strike damage. So N really does want the Super Awakening to be good. Rika does not. And Anniversary May is waiting on hers, kind of. She's pending. She's kind of in the middle between those two, I would say, where N is really good with the Super Awakening, Rika's really good without it, and May is just kind of good sitting there. She's kind of good. Not, like, great, but she's pretty good. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. And good buff. Good buff with the Super Awakening. I hope that Rika and May get ones that are just as good. Yes, rich get richer. I don't care. Make Rika great again. She's already good. She's already really strong. I don't think she needs to be made great again. So, whatever. Anniversary May, though. She could definitely use that quote. Anyway. I think I'm going to have a lot of people on my ass for fucking quoting Donald Trump. I'm still going to upload the video. We'll see how that goes. Whatever, not really the point. Rika Anniversary May End banner. Pretty decent banner. This is still one of those cases where you really want to hope that they end up making it to where you get Super Awakening for pulling PokeFair dupes past 5 out of 5 instead of just getting a 5-star power-up, though I'm sure that'll never happen. Still, I'd recommend putting it in the feedback section. It's not like it'll hurt. So, yeah. Decent banner. Rika's the real big one to aim for, and if you really want End dupes to be able to eventually Super Awaken him, then good there too. And Anniversary May, again, if you're impending her Super Awakening, decent option as well. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. I hope you all enjoyed. Decent value again. Just wait for the end of the month, though. If you want Rika or N or May, just get them off of a select. N's not really worth getting off of a select unless you plan to give him 9 candies, but whatever. Rika is definitely worth getting off the select, though, for sure. And yeah, whatever. That's my thoughts. So yeah, let me know what you think about this banner. Let me know if you're gonna be summoning for it. Let me know if you're gonna be skipping it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace.